All right, welcome back, everybody. We are keeping it moving, and we are live here in the Now studio. Now, I'm going to be having a chat for Motivational Mondays with Stephen Taylor, who is a director, producer, special effects makeup artist, and entrepreneur, and so much more. And I'm so happy to be chatting with him this morning. It's not the first time. Good morning, Stephen.
Morning, morning. How you doing?
Good, brother. Good. It's good to be chatting with you again.
As always, TNT and TV inside.
Now, Stephen, you're a part of our Motivational Mondays this morning, and there are some people who actually don't know your story. So let's chat about it a little bit this morning, and your background and your career and all the things that you do as of right now. So let's go back to the beginning. When first did you realize you wanted to have a career in film?
At the age of 7, went to see Jurassic Park. Saw that, was blown away. The director's name was Steven Spielberg. I went outside the cinema, clearly real excited, removed Spielberg and added Taylor.
Right.
And then the rest was history from that. I just continued along that creative path. My parents and everybody around me really, really supported me. They started off doing art classes because I couldn't afford a camera at the time. Just build from there. So from the age of 7, that's when the bug bit me, so to speak.
Yeah, the bug hit you then, and then, as you said, you went into art class. But when did you go into formal education on film itself, and where?
Well, to formal education, that would have been UE. So I went to UE film program, which was amazing, helped me appreciate my culture and the wider world. Then from there, went to the University of Southern California in Los Angeles, Hollywood, where I did a master's in film production, direction, and that kind of stuff. Stayed out there for 5 years. That was amazing. But that would have been my formal education. But the thing with film and directing and that kind of thing, I've been studying this since from 7, right? So just watching movies every day, breaking it down. I used to look at a show called Movie Magic on TV, which kind of gave you an insight into how movies are made, the behind the scenes, people watching. There's so much to gather just from life and from people and just watching movies. So the formal education would have been UE and USC, but just life and people around you gives you enough material to create worlds on screen.
Yeah, of course you'd gain knowledge in school and whatnot. And the piece of paper that says, you're qualified to do this, but from your entire experience observing and all, it would have added so much to, the way in which you do what you do now. Now, you said you went to school abroad, having to pick up your whole life and go to another country. What was that experience like? Where was your mind at the point in time?
Well, so the first time I did it was when I went to Canada, because I also studied special effects makeup in addition to directing, right? So the first time I left was 2008 by myself. It's very, people always talk about, I want to go away and this and that. But when you're out there by yourself, nobody really talking like you. They're not eating your food. They're not familiar with your culture. It's more than just going away and studying a specific subject area. It's also about figuring out what your identity is, who you are, what your voice is, and preserving that. So it takes a toll on you, especially if you're going out there really young, and if you're going out there with not a lot of money, like I did. So it really does shape you. But for me, what it did was it encouraged me to own who I am and my identity. So in Trinidad, I remember people used to say I was weird and all of that, but abroad I was eccentric. I was unique. My accent was intriguing. My stories were unfamiliar. So it really encouraged me to pursue this and to focus on the stories that I know really well.
Yeah, what you're saying there, I'm sure a lot of creatives especially encounter that because, they are creatives, they think in a very unique way. They don't, just take things at face value, and they don't take things in such a way that, it is what it seems. Creatives always go deeper than that. And having that mindset, of course, would translate into other things in their lives as well. But let's go back a little bit. Well, actually, let's flash forward slightly. Your first film, there was a little bit of... Was that?
I say, get me dizzy just now. I just flash back and flash forward. If you see me,
right? Now, there was a little bit of hot water you were in for like one of the first films you were involved in. Tell us about it.
The first film I did? The first film I did was called Buck the Man Spirit. I did it straight out. Well, it was the first film that people knew. So let me fast forward a bit. the first film that I did actually was banned by the National Censors
Board. That's the one I want to talk about.
The last film that was banned was like 1971 or BIM or something like that. And that actually wasn't a great experience for me, for being honest. It got a call. It was in the film festival, and it was printed in all the material and that kind of stuff. And I was given the notification. And then when I showed up to Movie Town, the film wasn't there. Right. And that was the first time I realized that film could actually have some impact. So as a student, my first film called The Other Side of Campus really highlighted some of the atrocities that was happening on UE. And I gathered from personal experiences and sort of put it in a fictionalized way so people could engage this problem head on. But apparently it was too intense. And at that time I had returned to Trinidad and I was the first special effects makeup artist and doing all of that. So I included that kind of visceral storytelling in my work, but that wasn't well received. That, if I'm being honest, there's one article that I still have where they basically just say, I'm going to say a word I can't say on TV, but they said I wasn't great.
Stephen, we do have to cut sharply for the news at the top of the hour here, but I want to thank you so much for joining us, telling your story, and of course, you continue telling stories as you do for the culture, and continue the great work you're doing. Unfortunately, we had to cut that one short. We're going to take a break to the top of the hour for the news at 7, and we'll be back with much more. Stay with us.